Hello there, welcome to this video. I'm Mariam, I'm an artist and a scientist, and I'm slowly but hopefully surely making my way into becoming a full-time artist, and this is where I document it on YouTube. Today we've got a couple of things that I wanted to get done, including maybe even drawing a landscape with you guys. You'd have noticed today's video is in a little bit of a different style from my normal ones, which are usually me not speaking to you guys, me doing things and narrating them later on. But I wanted a bit of a change because primarily, I missed you, and I missed talking to you, and I missed sharing things in the moment with you. One thing I actually wanted to share today was the concept that I've been thinking about recently, which is slow productivity. It is something that has been on my mind a lot because, I mean, no one's surprised when I say I have anxiety, and it doesn't make doing high-paced things or demanding things very easy. In fact, they kind of make my anxiety worse. And one really good way of dealing with anxiety is to slow things down. Why this works? Well, there are loads of theories and a lot to do with your automatic bits of your brain. If you've been here a little while, you'll know that I am actually a neuroscientist. I have a PhD in neurobiology, which is a branch of neuroscience, and it's more to do with like the cellular bits rather than the psychology bit. So I'm a big believer in the fact that your brain is a bunch of cells firing together, trying to get you through the day. They're really doing their best. They get into habits, and sometimes these habits are anxious ones. Where these anxious ones can come from, there are loads of different theories, but again, it can be due to prolonged stress, which, as you may know, may lead to burnout. It's also something that I'm really interested in. So back to slow productivity and why it actually works is because when you practice a certain type of living, your brain then starts to take it on more full time. So the theory behind this is when you're living a constant, stressful, very fast-paced, very pressurized lifestyle, reminding yourself suddenly to go slowly is a means of teaching your brain to slow down and do these things more slowly so that you don't get that release of stress hormones and upset your brain chemistry and just go into this fight or flight thing. But anyway, I digress. I've been very, very gradually just lowering my to-do list and trying not to be a part-time this as well as a full-time that, because I realized very early on it is very difficult and I want to do things well and in a meaningful way. And the results that you get when you do things in a multitasking sort of environment or situation constantly definitely are not the best kind of results, and they're not very sustainable either. And so yeah, all of that said, we've got a whole day ahead of us. Actually, we've got a whole 4 hours ahead of us because I've lived half the day now, and the rest of the day is going to be getting on with some artwork. Hi, so I'm speaking to you from my bookshelf, and something that I've had on these shelves for quite some time are prints that I printed out almost, I would say, like 6 months ago, and they've been prints that I wanted to paint over with some Mod Podge, and I've actually done this in a video already, so if anyone's been here for long enough, you'll know how smitten I was by this stuff. It's really cool, and it's very cool for digital artists like me because it makes your digital prints look like they have brush strokes, and I absolutely love that. If I could do things manually, I probably would have just done that, honestly. Like, it's a skill issue, it's not a preference, but so I'm going to go and try and find where I've put them. So some stuff that I have are these ones, and when I really look back at these, I can't believe how different I draw things now. This was at the very beginning of me drawing Ro and Kit, my two characters, and it was so fun because this was a time when I was literally just trying to figure out how to paint stuff. What we're going to do is we're going to take these, we're going to cut them using a guillotine, and we're going to just paint them over in Mod Podge. And the best thing about all of this is, oh god, maybe this blank wall over here won't be so blank anymore. So that will be a really nice thing. I got hungry, so we're going to make some grilled stickies. And let me put you here. So we're gonna make some grilled stickies, which is just basically a cheese sandwich. She is, yes, that's it. I can hear that the cat's just done a poo. Actually, something that I am also trying to adopt with more slow living is eating better, because you need to take your time with food. I love you. Sorry, I'll put you back down. There you go. Podge. You know, you do look genuinely excited. That's what I love. Okay, so these are all the things we need. This is the receipt. So this is what we're working with. Pixie's right there for moral support. And we have multiple art pieces ready for guillotining and Mod Podging. So let's get on with that. I forgot about the grilled sticky. I need to actually guillotine these. Oh no! Oh god, this is a disaster. Oh god. Okay, Toto, we're starting again. We're getting the guillotine. They're all basically ready. I'm really excited. Let's get on with it. And now we just leave this to kind of dry, and it should go completely transparent and leave these little bumps, which I'm excited for. Let's do a couple more. And this is what we have. Oh god. Here you are. Here I have some oil pastels, and the goal of today is to actually plan out a new art piece for Instagram. And I've seen a landscape that's lit up so beautifully by the sun that I want to try, but I wanted to try it a little bit differently today and maybe try to map out the colours first using oil pastels. And the reason I'm using them is because these are what I have and I don't really feel like painting today, so I think I'll go with oil pastels. This will do. This area is always so dusty. I don't understand why. I clean this so often. I've never had a dustier desk in my life. Which is ironic because I'm actually allergic. Slightly allergic to dust. How is there a hair on the wall? It's not the bathroom. So I've begun by putting out all of my materials. I've got some oil pastels, which really remind me of school, and I've got my blank sheet of paper, and this is actually the landscape that I told you about. First of all, my very first thing that I do when I'm doing landscapes is to actually just like sit back and analyze like what's happening here. We've got lighter colors in the distance, more grays, like grayish blues, and then what we have coming down are lighter yellows and greens that go into slightly darker yellows and greens. I'm going to sort of map this out on my paper using oil pastels, and hopefully you'll agree with me with what I've actually understood about it.
My monkey mind is turning over. All the times that knock me off my swing, the break in the chain link.
And so what I'm going to do here is try and actually find the right tone. This is way more difficult than I thought it would be. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is sort of like more greens. Don't worry if it's ugly. What you want to do is just sort of get a good context of where everything could be.
Found in my pocket. Hey girl, you're good now. Don't try to stop it. But now it happens all the time.
Again, be very free, very willing. I'm actually thinking this sort of green goes better down here rather than up here. So I'm going to change that back to a more grey green, but no, that's not how real colours work. So we're going to make this a lot lighter than this one. Okay, which is why this is useful. So we'll make more of a, yeah, probably more of this sort of colour, this sort of green would do way better. That's better. Okay, so this one for further back, this one for further the front. and this one for further back, and also this one further towards the front. Okay, colours of the sky I actually don't have, but it would be this but a more grey version of this. So if we mix these two colours together and lighten them a bit more with some white or some yellow or something, that would be great. Now that we have a good enough base, which is here, I'm going to clean this up and get my iPad so that we can actually start on the digital part of the piece. Okay, so now that I've done the experimenting with the colours, what I would usually do next is just go in on my iPad. I use Procreate. I always use Procreate. I just get a lot of people asking me like, what do I use? And yeah, it's just digital. So what I'll start doing first is laying down the foundations, which is essentially just colour blocking if I need to. I have recently started off by doing sketches of what's on the page first, and that's actually been helping me quite a bit, especially just to get the sort of, you know, distribution of different things correct. And so I'm going to try doing that, I think, rather than going in willy-nilly with the colours, and I will show you what I get up to. Hopefully we will get this moving. I think I'm a little tired actually. It's almost 5 p.m. I think I might just need a cup of tea. My phone keeps buzzing. I'm going to put that away. So right now, I think I've got the very bare sketches done. I've gone for pretty much this, if it will focus. We've got Ro down at the bottom here with a backpack and Kid on their shoulder, and I have all the proportions. I think the way that I want it, there's the clouds up here and the sort of grass down here and all of the mountains up here. So what I'm going to do now is colour block this with some watercolour brushes. People always ask me where I'm getting them from, and my honest answer is I can't remember, but most watercolour brushes work in quite a similar way, especially if you get them off of Etsy, which is where I got mine. And I also double them up with some textured pattern paper, which is essentially a layer up here, and you have basically different textures that you can download and put onto your file. Hey pigs! So I've just come back to the place where we did the Mod Podge, and I've just wanted to check if they dried transparently or not yet, and it seems like they have. I like the way they turned out. It's not too obvious that they have these little brush strokes, but if I hold them up to the light you can actually see that they do. It's quite cool.
Peeling back the layers of the part I've been playing for you. Used to be so easy. Now I get queasy when things start going wrong. And in this life we all know that the starting is the hardest part. Do you believe me, or even see me as I fall apart? imitate. But it's hard to leave the ground when you're stuck staring down. Just the bustle in the crowd. Watching from the sides as you go through life with wonder in your eyes. Wonder how you do it. Try not to lose it. Just holding on. You don't walk, you levitate. I tried my best to imitate.
Hi there. So it's been about an hour since you last saw the piece, and I have since then colour blocked it fully in watercolour, and now I'm starting to go over it in coloured HB pencil, which always gives this little bit of a texture to the painting, and I like it. I do like the watercolour and how wet it feels and how impressionist it can be, but I don't think I'm really at that point where I want to make that my style, because pencils and the roughness of them, but also the smoothness of them, gives the eyes a little bit more detail to look at, and I kind of like that. But anyway, I'll show you that and talk you through it. So this is our piece at the moment, and if I zoom in a little bit, you can kind of see where I've started to shade in with the greens to make grass. This is just a reminder of what I'm going for. And yeah, I think we've definitely made some progress since that. This was definitely a precursor to this. It's amazing. Trust the process. You'll get there. Hey, so that's me, and I hope you've enjoyed today. I might continue this video, or I might make it just this. I hope you've had a good time. I definitely have, and perhaps I'll continue on this into the night, but first I must make some food because I am starving. I might update with the progress of the image, but I think what might happen is I'm going to finish most of it after work in one night, and if you'd like to know more about it, or if you'd like to see the final piece, most likely I'll have it up on Instagram at The Mind of Mary, and if not yet, then please do follow me on there anyway, because that is where I love to engage with you guys the most, and I leave you little messages of hope and hopefully joy as well in the stories, and also give you sneak peeks and behind the scenes before I've uploaded here on YouTube. So yeah, anyway, let's go make some burgers, and I will see you soon. Take care.
God.